Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Shiloh and this is Shy-chology. I'm the shy, not the sigh, and the ology. And today I want to talk about how I met my therapist basically and what to do when finding what you need to do when you're finding your therapist, or things that helped me find my therapist basically. So my therapy journey has been about 10 years long. I went to my first therapy appointment when I was 14 and I'm now 24. So I've not been going to therapy consistently for 10 years, I will be honest. There was probably about a 6-year gap where I didn't go do anything for my mental health, and that was probably my downfall, to be honest. First therapist, like I said, when I was 14, after my mom died. She actually was the mediator in my parents' divorce. So it was really nice because going to your first therapy, especially as a 14-year-old girl, kind of feels a little awkward because nobody else in high school is going to therapy, or nobody else in my high school was going to therapy. But it was really nice because I didn't have to explain the whole backstory about my mom and how she died. She just kind of knew. Saw her for a few months when I was in my 8th grade year, and then stopped, and then I went back around my 9th grade year. And then about the middle end of my 9th grade year, I stopped going. I felt fine, I felt good. Fast forward to about my sophomore, junior year of college, I went down a mental rabbit hole. I was not taking care of myself. I was really, really mentally sick, and I went into treatment. And I went back to therapy, and my first therapist, she was in the treatment center. My second one, who really connected with, he was amazing. Was most of my first guy therapist, which was very weird to connect with him on that, with my therapy-ness, I guess you could say. But he was awesome, really great. He was in my kind of step down program. And then one of the qualifications for when you're leaving treatment and you're going into your step program is you have to have an outpatient team. So I had to have 3 different people with different jobs before I could leave treatment. So I met this therapist and I did not click with her. We just wasn't good, and I only saw her once, and that was it. Then that was for about 5 months I stopped going to therapy. I kind of took a break, and I kind of had a really big life event that made me fall down back that rabbit hole. As my aunt, who encouraged me to go back to therapy, she's like, "You're a little bit of a hot mess." She didn't actually say that, but you get the gist. And so I kind of went online and I searched therapists at where I live, and I found my current therapist. I really liked her description, and I went to my first meeting and we clicked immediately. She was amazing. She still is amazing. I still go and see her, but I just loved how she talked to me, how I talked to her. We just vibed really well, and I've been seeing her. It will be 3 years this August, and I haven't consistently gone every single week. There's been breaks and stuff, and that's okay. We've talked, whenever I feel I don't really want to, I'm getting burnt out on therapy, you can only talk about your feelings so much before it gets overwhelming. We take a break and we talk about it, and then she'll call me, be like, "Are you ready to come back?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" One of the things I loved about my therapist that I have right now is she's the one that encouraged me to do these videos. She knows that I'm doing them. She gives me material to talk about. And she's like my life coach. She's helped me with my finances. She's helped me with my mental health, my relationships, my job. I'll tell her all these work stories, and then she'll be like, "Yeah, that's not okay. This is how you should phrase the question." She's just been amazing. And that's something that you should have with your therapist. If you have a therapist or you go to your first visit and you're not really jiving very well, do not feel obligated to keep going. You need to find somebody that works for you. And I know it's hard with insurance and money, and I don't everybody's different. Thankfully, I lucked out with her. But if you can, find a therapist you jive for, because it's your mental health. It's what you're trying to improve yourself. So why feel uncomfortable or anxious going to your therapist? That's the last person you should feel anxious going to be honest. And so one of the things I loved about my therapist is that she mixes Eastern medication and Western medicine ideology together. So we've done meditations together, but we also work on my medication. Like I talked about last video, I told you guys I take stuff. Another thing I really liked, I think I mentioned, is that she tested me to see what drugs would work with me and what doesn't. And I thought that was amazing that I had a therapist. Instead of blindly trying to throw meds at me, we looked and we waited and tested to see okay, like that's how I found out SSRIs won't work with me. I will never be able to take them. They don't work with my brain chemistry. And that's really good to know, because I had a doctor prescribe me an SSRI and I felt terrible. And now like I had some kind of like reasoning behind it, you know? So I just really want to know from you guys, like, what kind of therapy techniques worked for you? Did you ever have an uncomfortable situation with a therapist that you needed to change? Or like what kind of therapy techniques work for you? Do you like meditation? Do you like just seeing them once a month and kind of going over things? Do you need to see them every week? Like, tell me what. I just love to know, because that's the whole point of this channel. I'm sharing my therapy with you guys and what I learned, and I would love to learn from you as well. If you'd like to see more of me talk on my pretty face, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell so you get a notification when I pop up. And like I said, don't forget to comment about what kind of therapy things like worked for you or didn't work for you. And I'll see you next time. Bye!